You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of nerds. Nerds!
Welcome back to the Nerds Podcast, fresh off a weekend in Orlando for MegaCon. That's a story for another day. We are back talking about dropped on Amazon Prime on March 18th with the first 3 episodes of season 4. And I gotta say, man, it's good to have Invincible back. It's a very good series in my opinion. The animation is good, and that's something I always look at is the animation. Animation is definitely good, and from my point of view, and they started out with just the same way any series kicks off a new season, kind of just recapping what happened at the end of the season, the previous season. Mark dealing with the repercussions of his actions. We see, the aftermath of the battle with Conquest. That's episode 1. Episode 2 was different. There was no Invincible in episode 2. This was kind of looking at Omni-Man's, which is Nolan Grayson, looking at Omni-Man's backstory, his upbringing, him as a child, not a child, but him younger than what we know him. We see him with the gray sideburns, with the mustache. In episode 2, we see him without that. He looks like maybe early 20s. So we see how he became what he is now, that we are known, what we know him to be. And we also seen some backstory on the planet Viltrum. We've seen a backstory on that, which is interesting to kind of see why they are the way they are, as far as how aggressive they are. But that was episode 2 was extremely good, and then episode 3 we get what was the name of the alien race that tried to
Ooh, I got
invade
this.
the Flaxans. They tried to invade, and that's when Omni-Man that's when we got we were able to see what Omni-Man was capable of when he went to their planet and said, Earth is not yours to destroy, or your Earth is not yours to conquer. So we got to see what he's really capable of then. I mean, we did see it when he was when he kind of took it to the Guardians of the Globe in the first episode of the first season. And I wasn't expecting that because I hadn't read the comics. So I'm sure people who read the comics, knew what was coming. But those who didn't, it was definitely you should have been caught off guard with that, because that was something that was out of left field. And then we did see what happened again, something that was teased at the end of season 3, the Sequids. One of them that kind of had stowed away on a ship back from Mars with one of the astronauts, and they were kind of an infestation in the sewers, and they finally came out, and they had to deal with that as well. And that was something else that kind of set up Mark for something else, of course, that he has to deal with, being that he offed the main host to prevent it from escalating. So Booba, you got 3 episodes right there, and a good way to bring back. I mean, I am a fan and not a fan of getting more than 1 episode when they kick off a new season, because then you only have, let's say there's only 8 episodes. That means we only got 5 weeks left of Invincible.
I know.
You know what I mean? So it sucks if that's the case. Yeah, but then when you only get 1, you're like, damn, I can't wait till next week. So they give you 3 to kind of reel you back in, but then you only got a little over a month left of episodes. So talk to me. When you're sitting down watching Invincible again since last year,
Yeah, no, I can't believe that it's been a year. As soon as it comes on, you kind of dive right into it. You feel like you're like it never left for some reason because it's still in your head and you have a whole year of conversation. I mean, Conquest got my award for voiceover actor for me, but like it starts off like right off the back. We don't get to see the battle that he's out in space on, so I was a little thrown off right from the jump. But you could tell he was battling something, and he just gets right back into it to help out the Guardians. But you think about this is after the whole Invincible War. This is after Conquest, and Earth in general got to see Mark or the variations of Mark throughout the world. And as he's helping out, like at first, I'm not getting why, as he's helping people, why he's getting side eye. Like, why is he getting attitude and being looked upon so differently? But I forget, they saw all these variants of Mark and Invincible destroying stuff all over the earth. And it hit me then. I was like, okay, that's the reason why they're kind of giving him side eye. I gotta tell you, I did like the orange armor that he had on at the beginning. I thought it looked dope with the suit. And I didn't think that orange and black would go together, but it looked pretty amazing to me. Then I also remember when we got that beginning, that montage of villains that they were showing. I forgot they were all in jail, and because of what the I want to say this right. I think there was the Mohawk one, the Mohawk Invincible let them out. Like he let all these villains out, and you could tell that they're just trying to pick everything up. Oliver, his pigmentation threw me off a little bit. Like he was so much lighter than he was in the previous season, but he's also have Viltrumite. So I'm wondering if, because I know he's supposed to be growing faster than others, right? Because of the I forget the ant people's name.
Yeah, his mom's race was kind
Yeah.
of like an
Isn't she
accelerated.
Thraxen? Was she Thraxen? I can't remember if she was or wasn't Thraxen, but it reminds me of kind of like Groot. The way Groot kind of grows very quickly, I think he's going to be growing the same way. So again, really cool to see. I mean, I have a sibling, so I could remember, asking my sibling to help me out. I was like, nah, I just want to play video games. I just want to be a kid. So that scene kind of hit home for me as well. But it was kind of like it was so opposite of last season because of the fact that like Oliver wanted to get in the game. He's like, let me get in there. Like, look, he went to go against Conquest. And now with so much work to do because of what's happened, I mean, he's not chomping at the bit anymore. He just wants to be a kid. He's like, let someone else handle that stuff. So, it's so different. And the way it's probably been months since the passing of last season. So we're seeing a lot of different things for the most part. But man, the first episode, I think, set it off really great. Cecil trying to get the Guardians back together again. But how do they trust him, Pete? Like, how would the Guardians even trust Cecil at this point after they saw what he did to Mark in the prior season with the kill switch in his ears? Like, I don't know how they do that. Like, I don't know how they get back in this season to trust Cecil after what they saw. Like, what do you think about that?
They addressed it. They said, it's zero tolerance, bro. Like, don't the smallest inkling of us feeling that we can't trust you, it's a wrap. And that's another one of these subplots that we're dealing with here is the Guardians getting back together. Mark is not with them, but he is working with them. We get Machine Head. We get back into that. We get back into that aspect of another subplot of the whole Invincible story, but it seems like they're trying to bring that back into the fold. Machine Head and Titan. They introduced there was an assassination attempt on Titan's family, but one of the bigger storylines, obviously, because this is one of the bigger characters, is Eve and her powers are acting up.
Yeah.
Now, I said I had figured it out. I kind of guessed it, and they confirmed it in the last episode. But Pooba, what were you thinking when? Again, this is something they teased over the first 3 episodes, so it's not really a subplot. It's part of this main story, but they kind of they were addressing it. Eve's powers are on the fritz. They have Invincible ink, and she's unable to go and help. So go ahead.
Well, let me ask you a question. I'll answer that for you. But did you know when she took off Mark's clothes in last season and you saw the goo? Or you're saying based off this season and what you saw?
Based off this season,
okay,
and them really addressing it more now because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
in the
yeah.
trailer. It was in the trailer. Her powers were kind of
Yeah,
not,
she made him shit coffee.
yeah, and that was another. Yeah, that's another.
I can't say that I knew. I can't say that I knew. What threw me off is when Rudy Rex, because he took on Rex's name, did the body scan, and he said that he found no abnormalities. That would have been the time to be like, hey, you have another heartbeat, or you're preggo right there and then. He did a full body scan, and that didn't come up. So that threw me off, Pete. That threw me off completely. So while I hinted towards it, when it came out that she was fine, well, okay, if she's not preggo, maybe she just capped off with what she did with Conquest, and now she's going back down. But explain, how did Rudy not find that she was preggo?
To me, that was the tease of, or yeah, maybe she maxed out her powers with bringing herself back to from the dead after what Conquest did to her, and just kind of going full power on Conquest as well after she was able to bring herself back from the dead, I guess. But that could be that could have been it. Maybe she kind of pushed herself too much, where now it's affecting her powers going forward. But I had a feeling, I felt strong about it. Like, I think she's pregnant, because just the way your body changes. So I was like, maybe that's what it is. And then when they showed it at the end of the 3rd episode, I said, I knew it.
And pregnancy is not an abnormality, right? So
Definitely not.
That's what they were kind of looking for. But some of the things to discuss on these 3 episodes. Another Walking Dead voice actor comes in, or another Walking Dead actor, Denai Guerrera, comes in as Universa. She looked great, drawn great, taking out the power plants. I actually loved it on that one. And the other part, and I hope people stood, because you have to understand they're doing post-credit scenes. Conquest got out, Pete. Like, I gotta tell you, when you saw him leave, like, I was like, oh, damn. What were you thinking when you saw Conquest leave at the end of the first episode?
I mean, listen, this was bound to happen. It was kind of set up when they showed that he was that Cecil kept him alive. Like, oh my God, this is not going to end well. And of course, you saw when he escaped, Cecil said, "Shit," because he knew it. It was a bad decision. I think we all thought it was a bad decision when we were watching it the first time in last season. And look, and he's completely rejuvenated. I mean, he had to put some clothes on. He did get a new fit. He didn't get a new right hand. So he's ready. And he said he kept me alive. And then
he called evil witch.
Yes. But he did look, and he's back. It seems like he's back to full strength. Like I said, he got another a new right hand. And we get introduced to Thrag.
He looks so dope.
He asked him to, use him as Conquest asked Thrag to use him as an example to motivate other Viltrumites. Use his failure to motivate all other Viltrumites. And he said, no, you still have work to do. So we're going to see them again. This whole world war that's brewing is, I wonder how they're going to go after this, because this will probably be the end all for the Viltrumites and Earth because the way it's being set up. So I'm curious to see what they have going after the season. But we got 5 more episodes to go. But also another thing that's going to, it's not as big as the Eve storyline. And you pointed it out. This is a good catch. And we've seen Sinclair teased as the Animan, correct?
Yeah,
Reaniman.
Reaniman.
Yeah,
Reaniman.
Reaniman. Yeah. So the Reaniman was from the episode when Mark went with William to his college and he was kidnapping students, experimenting on them, and turning them into cyborgs, mindless cyborgs. And so, of course, part of his, I guess, I don't know if it was a plea deal or whatever, but now he's working with Cecil. But Pooba, what did you see? Because I didn't see it. And when you told it to me, I was like, that's an awesome catch.
Well, I had to watch it a second time. I didn't catch it the first time. And I caught it when Mark was asked to come back to the Pentagon to talk to Cecil. And they were like, hey, you got to put this away for right now because Invincible is in the house. But the corpses of the Invincibles that in the Invincible War that were dead, they are making them into Reaniman. That is absolutely insane. And I get it. Hey, we're going to need as many Invincibles as possible with the Viltrumites now getting back conquest. But to take the bodies of these marks throughout different universes and to put them as Reaniman, absolutely crazy, Pete. Like, again, we've seen this before where you're like, do not mess with what you do not know. But again, if we can make humans into Reaniman, then I guess we're gonna have to do this with these half Viltrumites and things of that nature. And there was another thing that I had a question on, Pete, and I don't want to jump the subject, but when I told you this, what went through your head knowing that they're gonna have Reaniman that were again the marks of the different universe?
Brilliant writing to me. I thought it was brilliant writing, being that, you know what? Yes, we were using, I guess, humans to, experiment on to make them into these cyborgs. But now we have meta humans that we can use instead of regular humans. And they're going to need that. And that was one of the reasons that Cecil had kept Conquest, because he wanted to get information from him to defeat the Viltrumites. So what better to fight Viltrumites than a whole bunch of Mark Graysons, regardless if they were evil in other time periods, but now they have control of them and they're somewhat enhanced because they are cyborgs now. So I think that's a win-win for them, even if, like we've discussed before, what you don't know, you probably shouldn't mess around with. But I think this is something that they do have a hold on, because remember, they attacked Mark with some of these Reanimen in the last season. So he seems like he has a lot of trust in Sinclair, and they're letting it look. Cecil's playing with fire, man, because he kept Conquest. He's doing this. He's asking for Mark to just put a hole in his chest. So,
and Mark, you can tell, like, Mark has so graduated from the Angstrom stuff about not letting anybody live. Of course, we saw that when he just blew Russ's head off to end the Sequids. And of course, he's now being judged because of that. Listen, in the second episode, when they had it on pause and they show the head just exploding on the screen, that was absolutely great to see. I love that at all. And the other thing that I have in mind here is because, again, that Scourge virus that you had talked about earlier in this episode. So Nolan got infected with the virus and survived it. So that means he has a built-in immunity, right? And of course, they show Thaddeus, cleverly, of course, voiced by Peter Cullen. Love the fact that he sounds like Optimus every time I hear him. Does that mean that Mark and Oliver also have that immunity based on the fact that they have the same blood as Nolan?
But if you didn't remember, now the strain that he has is more powerful. There's no recovering from it, is what he said this time. And they did give the backstory. They did give his backstory of he's kind of like an outcast because he's considered a traitor, and that is the betrayer is what they refer to him
the
as.
betrayer. Yep.
And they give when we spoke about episode 2 being the backstory of Nolan when he was younger, they did show they did give a backstory on Viltrum, being that they were attacked with the virus, kind of like COVID. It was very much like COVID. A lot of them were getting sick. Just the visuals of the bodies that were dead, what they had to do with them, they dumped them into space. There were so many they couldn't do anything with them. There were so many, but yeah, a lot of like he said, we were on the brink of extinction, and there's not many of them left. I think they said around 50.
50, yeah.
So to think about that, you almost wiped out an entire civilization with a virus. That betrayer name fits him perfectly because that was against his own race, but he thought he would deter them from being how they were, and it actually backfired. So that's another story. I don't think it's going to continue on. I think we've heard enough about the backstory of Viltrum and Mark. Him fighting his parents to go into adulthood is insane. Was insane. I was like, yo, who are these people that just ran? And then he said mother and father. And his mother was going in, man. Like
the mother would have killed him if it wasn't for the dad.
It's insane. Insane.
Listen,
but
don't ever complain if your mom beats you.
Well, if you do feel like your mother's being unfair to you, just watch episode 2 of season 4. And this was kind of like his initiation into adulthood. His parents attacking him and him having to fight off his mother and his father. So this is listen, Invincible. A friend at work suggested this. I knew nothing about Invincible. I knew it was coming out on Amazon Prime. A friend of mine at work had suggested this to me, and I've been hooked ever since. Great series so far. Up into season 4. This got off to a great start. It's out on Wednesdays, correct?
Yeah.
Or Tuesdays?
I think
Wednesdays.
I want to say Wednesdays. Yeah. So
Wednesday. So we'll be back to review every single episode of season 4 of Invincible. For Puba, for myself.
The worst episode ever.